Welcome back to WCS Europe Season 1 Finals. This is where things start to get very serious indeed. Just 4 men remain. Who's going to be crowned champion of Europe? Well, before we get to that, let's take a look at the bracket for the best placed 5th player. Just to confirm and give the crowd one more chance to cheer his name, TLO will be going off to the finals in Korea. A fantastic way to start off the day here on Sunday in May for our first Season 1 of the WCS Europe. TLO confirmed as the 5th and final member of the 5-man crew that goes to Korea for the Season 1 Global Finals. And now we're going to find out who's going to be champion of Europe. But before we get to that, let's show you the bracket and how they look right now. If you weren't with us yesterday, the 4 men that went through to the semi-finals, DIMAGA going through, having beaten Happy. MVP came through beating TLO very easily indeed yesterday for the other semi-finals. So that'll be our first matchup, DIMAGA versus MVP. And then straight after that, we'll have 4GG against Stefano. So that's how our 2 semi-finals look. Before we get to our semi-finals and we check in with the players, we've been joined by Mr. Apollo, who has hastily run down the stairs.
I was here all the time. I was waiting for my introduction.
All right, okay, fine. So how are you doing so far today? I know that this is where things get really serious now, but a lot of people said, well, why have you streamed the other games and the semi-finals? And I guess the reason is that we wanted matches like that, because it might not, you know, I thought it was a really exciting set of matches. It might have been a bit cheesy, but you know, TLO, I mean, he was very gracious afterwards. He said, I might not be able to beat him in a straight-up fight, but he used his noodle because he realised that and then played something a bit weird.
Win's a win, right? At the end of the day.
That's what it's about.
You know, you start the game equal, you come out a winner, and TLO was the guy that won in the end, so he takes the slot. Yep. Congratulations.
Okay, so before we'll finish with the 5th place now. TLO's locked that one in the bag. He's got his plane ticket and his boarding pass. Let's move on to the top 4. Because this is it now. I mean, we've got 3 matches, and they're going to decide the first Season 1 champion of Europe. Where's it going? Is it going to Korea?
All right.
Is it staying in Europe?
I have a feeling it may be Korean, but obviously there's some pretty strong European presence here. I'm having a hard time seeing DIMAGA get past MVP, but I said that against Happy too, so anything's possible. But I'm having a feeling that MVP is going to probably 3-0, 3-1 this. And I actually feel that Stefano can beat 4GG. So I think we may see a Stefano MVP final.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is MVP Stefano the dream final?
I think for a lot of people, yes. Stefano, throughout all the Wings of Liberty for the last year, 2 years or whatever, he's been the guy that has been beating these Koreans, you know. And for this to be in Europe, for him to defend what's Europe's Season 1, there's the perfect finals. Yeah,
I mean, although this is Season 1, we should explain that we had a WCS Europe last year and he was the Europe champion. So in a sense, he needs to kind of step up and defend his title in a way. He hadn't been playing all that well in Heart of the Swan, but now just seems like he's getting some rhythm back at the right time. Yeah,
I mean, he's been performing better and better every round in WCS so far. Started off really shaky and has now become a player who can 3-0 in the quarterfinals against Baby Knight. And I spoke to him. He says he's in form. He's feeling good. We saw some really good plays from him against Baby Knight. The changelings around and small little details like that, which kind of shows us that he's practicing, he's playing, and he wants to win, more importantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you very much, Sean. We're going to get some more analysis from Apollo throughout this next set of matches. In fact, right at the end of this set of matches. Before we get there, we'll check in with the players once more. This, in case you didn't already know, is DIMAGA!
Hello, my name is Dmitry Filipchuk. I'm from Ukraine, from city Chernihiv, and I'm playing Zerg. I think I have a quite passive style of playing. Obviously, I'm playing like solid plays, and you can react to kind of everything. You can play like one build order and react to everything, but it's almost impossible, so you have to take risk. When I find out my group with Fizz, Stefano, and Torzen, I was thinking, it's a tough group. After everything, I think I have very good draw for me, that group, compared to others. I just married like not long time ago, like 1 year, and everything is going really perfect in everything, especially when I'm losing, because you know, like when you're winning, like everybody, yeah, you're so good, grats and other stuff, but when you're losing, it's like we're always tough.
DIMAGA knows he is in a commanding position. The 2 siege tanks are going to try and hold on, but the Mutalisks fly in, trying to pick off one. The second one goes down to the Roaches as well. All there is left is Marines. GG, well played!
When I saw GG from Torsten, I didn't believe that I can win such a game, especially lost in decider. I was just have so many emotions, like I was just showing like, oh yeah, I do it. This was really amazing. I love it. I remember I was doing as well against Mana in assembly finals. I was losing 2-0 in best of 5 final, and then I come back with 3-2. It's just like, I don't know, just like going from you. I don't know, it's just cool. My goal was to go to the round of 8, because if you're going to round of 8, you will play Premier League next season. It's like my goal was. So right now, I know my opponent, it's Empire Happy. He's very, very solid and strong player. I play him a lot in ladder. I will try to do my best, and I hope luck will be on my side again.
So, you probably worked out that was DIMAGA just before his quarter-final. He is the surprise package of the WCS. Not only did he make the top 8, but he's actually made the top 4 and will not only represent Europe in the Premier League next season, but will also now be going off to Korea for the Season 1 Global Finals as well. His opponent in the semi-final doesn't really need an introduction. He is the King of Wings.
네, 제 이름은 정종현이고요. 저는 한국에서 왔고 팀은 LGIM 팀이고 종족은 테란을 하고 있습니다. 제가 유럽에 왔을 때 항상 대회 성적이 좋아서 유럽을 선택했고 예전부터 뭐랄까 유럽이 저한테 잘 맞는 것 같아요. 생활 패턴이라든지 먹는 거나 그런 거 생활 모든 게 다 잘 맞는 것 같아서 유럽으로 선택했어요. 일단 한국은 레더를 굉장히 많이 하는데 유럽 선수들은 레더를 별로 안 하고 쉬는 시간에만 레더를 하는 것 같고요. 한국인들은 거의 레더로만 연습을 해서 레더 서치할 때 좀 한국은 되게 빨리 잡히는데 유럽은 좀 늦게 잡히는 것 같아요. 제 플레이 스타일은 일단 공격적일 땐 공격적이고 방어적일 땐 방어적이라 상대가 예측할 수 없는 그런 스타일인 것 같아요.
Oh, but there's so much firepower here. He lands storms across all of these siege tanks. It's pretty good. The siege tanks can't move out of that. He's going to be able to bust a few of the siege tanks as well as the bunkers. But I don't know whether there's enough gateway units here to deal with this, as the bio reinforcements were 134 supply against 88.
예전에 비해서는 많이 지금 못하고 있는 상태인데 이번에 우승해서 다시 세계 최고가 되려고.
MVP is making this look easy.
100 supply difference. He's dominating. This is annihilation. This is simply one-sided.
It is MVP. Amazing, amazing play thus far.
일단 부상 몸이 안 좋아서 게임도 오래 쉬고 그렇게 쉬다 보니까 실력도 떨어지고 실력이 떨어지다 보니까 연습도 더 안 하게 되고 이렇게 악순환이 반복돼서 실력이 지금 많이 줄은 상태고 이제 앞으로는 연습 열심히 해서 다시 우승하고 싶어요. 일단 가장 우선적인 것은 연습을 많이 하는 거고 그리고 이번 시즌에 연습을 좀 예전보다 많이 해서 이번 시즌에 우승해서 시즌 파이널도 우승해서 다시 최고의 선수가 되고 싶어요. 우승할 확률은 50% 정도 된다고 생각하고요. 일단 8강부터 차근차근 이겨서 결승까지 가면 결승에서는 안 질 것 같아요.
So, the King of Wings is ready, and you heard him. He doesn't just want to win the Europe final, he wants to win the whole damn thing. He is a previous triple champion, and of course, you saw those GSL badges as well. He has form in Wings of Liberty, but he's yet to show his true colours in Heart of the Swarm. Let's see how these two men have travelled through the WCS Europe. They've both had very exciting seasons so far. DIMAGA there with fantastic early wins. Just that one defeat to Thor Zane that he rectified in the round of 16 with a 2-1 win. And then that audacious win yesterday over Happy by 3-2. On the other hand, MVP, just that one slip-up. And guess who it was against? Well, it was a 0-2 against the very man he's about to play in the semi-finals. The other loss he had was against Lucifron, and we've already seen how good Lucifron can play, finishing 6th here at WCS Europe. So, here we go. It's the first semi-final of WCS Europe Season 1. It's time to go over to our commentary team of Kalaris and Todd.
Thanks very much, Red Eye. Welcome back to the caster's desk here for the next game, the semi-final, to determine who advances on to that final spot between DIMAGA and MVP. This is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, it is going to be good. We've seen MVP very impressive versus Zerg so far. He really favors that commence the first build with which it dismantled TLO completely previously.
It did. DIMAGA does have the recent wins over MVP, and well, that's one way to open up our map drawing here, as Mr. MVP gonna pick one map first. He seems very happy about this.
DIMAGA is always smiling and happy. How can you not be smiling if you're next to him?
Yeah.
When you play him, you smile a lot less. That's what I can tell you usually.
Yeah? Oh, well, okay then. So we're going to see the first map being vetoed here. Whirlwind goes away for MVP. Doesn't want to play against a big style of Lings and Ultras against DIMAGA. And DIMAGA gets rid of Akalon Wastes. And again, you know, MVP is going to be looking back on the games that he played against DIMAGA. They were arguably, admittedly online, but still, DIMAGA played very strongly against him. But ever since then, DIMAGA has mixed up his style from Ling Ultra, things like that too, like Roach Hydra and stuff. So we'll see if MVP can adapt.
Yeah, DIMAGA, when he played versus Happy on Whirlwind, didn't he go for like mass Roach Hydralisks and then completely overpowered his opponent? Maybe MVP saw these games and then he realized, well, that's not something I really want to play against here. Whirlwind is still a fairly good map for Command Center first, but then we've seen some rushes recently, some all-ins go through, and MVP might not want to try and risk getting hard countered, because his build order is, as much as he scouts after the Command Center, I feel like he's more comfortable with his Command Center first on 2 players map.
Yeah.
Remember, he before making the barracks, he always sends the SCV out to scout.
Yeah, he's very active about that. And I think, you know, with what you said before about Dima versus Happy, things like that, you were right. I mean, there was a lot of very aggressive play from our Zergs over the course of the previous series here in TVZ. And that's where Zergs are finding a lot of their strengths. We already saw TLO defeating Lucifer with a lot of aggression. But for now, guys, we can go over to a few short interviews to see exactly how our players feel going into this first best of 5.
MVP, DIMAGA, will he be easier than TLO or harder?
DIMAGA will be tougher than TLO because I met him in round of 32 already and lost against him, so it will be definitely harder.
Will you have to play more differently compared to your TLO game?
Against my game against DIMAGA, I'm actually, right now I don't know yet what I'm going to prepare.
Do you have another score prediction for us for this match?
3대0으로 이길 것 같아요. 3-0.
감사합니다. DIMAGA, your first opponent was Happy, now you've got MVP, a theoretically much stronger opponent. Can you pull another rabbit out of the hat?
I don't know, but I will try to do my best.
You beat him once already. How different will this game be? Obviously, pressure is much higher.
Pressure is really much higher, and I think it will be really much more harder, because like I played from Europe and he was in Korea, so this is really huge, I think.
DIMAGA, we saw a lot of emotions from you. Are you going to come in nervous into this match?
I think for sure. I'm nervous like every single match I play, especially when you start to winning. It's like really like choking.
Does it make a difference that it's MVP out of all the players here as the 4-time GSL champion?
I think not.
Dima, you have already beaten MVP in the round of 32. How will that influence this playoff semi-final?
I think it doesn't matter right now, because LAN is LAN and everything can be possible. And MVP has a lot of experience of LANs, especially like high-level LANs.
You show a lot of emotion when you play. Do you feel like you're going to be nervous in this match?
I'm sure I will be nervous, but I hope I can play at least my usual play style.
Do you feel like you have? Do you feel like you know what you need to do in order to beat somebody like MVP?
I don't know, honestly, but I hope game will be really fun to watch.
All right, well, we're going to get into this in just a second here. DIMAGA saying that he's feeling pretty nervous, but I mean, going up against MVP, would you feel pretty nervous, Todd?
Yeah, but I would also feel very glad to be playing against such a player.
Yeah.
I think it was TLO who said it before. You don't have much to lose and everything to gain from playing against a player as renowned as MVP.
And it's funny because we're just in the chat here just before the games, and Mr. MVP just keeps spamming DIMAGA, so I wasn't quite expecting that from MVP. But we are going to jump into game number 1 here between these two menacing individuals in the form of MVP and DIMAGA to determine who advances onto the grand finals here for the Europe Premier Season 1 Grand Finals. Spawning down to the bottom left as our Red Terran, representing Korea and LGIM. Give it up for MVP. Spawning up at the top right as our Blue Zerg, representing the Ukraine, and no team yet until the 3rd of June. Give it up for DIMAGA.
MVP, we've said it, he likes his commands in the first. He exclusively went for that build order previously versus TLO now. He knows that DIMAGA is going to be aware of that, obviously. How does he adapt from there? Does he still go for that command center build? I was talking about it, but apparently it's a very safe build. There is no clear counter. There might be some all-ins that might work if he didn't scout. Like a Baneling Boss, some very quick road rush. But the thing is, he scouts very early on usually, but well, in this game he's already mixing it up with the barracks followed by gas on 12, so Reapers feels like followed by most likely an expansion. So MVP already mixing it up here.
I like this. I think that both of these players, their roads through the WCS Europe thus far have been dominated by TVZs and ZVTs on both sides of things. So both players are going into this knowing A, lot about their opponent, B, from that point on, they now know that they need to try and deviate things up. And I think that's exactly what MVP is going to do to kick things off. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw MVP from that point on utilize a similar strategy he did against TLO with that Hellbats, Hellions Marauders, just pressuring the 3rd base, being very annoying.
Yeah, especially constant aggression.
Yeah.
It's one thing to open with some aggression, but then to keep up with it the entire game while macroing is very hard to do. And it's also a style which MVP chose to use in his first series previously. So here we're going to see what he chooses to do. So far it's just one Reaper, should be followed by a second one. And DIMAGA, no gas yet. DIMAGA is a bit of a wild card in this matchup. Sometimes he goes for Roach Hydra, sometimes he goes for full links. He can do anything. Yeah. DIMAGA is a man of many tricks.
You're right, and I won't be surprised if he brings out some of those tricks here against MVP. I think there's a lot you can say about players who believe their opponent to be the better player. Let's just look straight back to the previous series with TLO versus Lucifron, and then from that point try and eke out the wins in other ways other than macro. And here MVP now is opening things up with those Reapers, looking to poke on around. And again, won't be surprised if they sled into the later aggression in the form of those Marauders, etc. As he's seen DIMAGA open up roaches so many times in the past.
Yeah, and if MVP feels safe, he might go for the 3rd command center very quickly here behind his factory, which is just thrown down. The Reaper not doing bad here, almost getting... oh, it's forced to Spore, which hasn't been cancelled yet. DIMAGA's not paying attention.
Cancel that.
Whoa! Where is he looking?
Ah, there we go, phew. All right, so that would have been a bit of a waste of minerals as well as wasted mining time there to kick things off. Second Reaper does rendezvous with that first one and jump straight into the Zerglings, has to jump straight on out once again there. For now, speed starts up for DIMAGA. No 3rd command center just yet, although he is banking up the minerals to start that, unless he's just going to start the Hellions straight away from that factory.
I'm pretty sure we're going to have a 3rd command center. See, he's already sent an SCV on the bottom right-hand side of his main. Those Reapers not going to be able to do too much. They are trying to... oh, wow, they actually get that Queen almost at half hit points here. They're going to regenerate their hit points and get back in there and try and get the snipe, maybe.
That's the annoying thing about these Reapers to kick things off. And once again, another surround here. He's not actually jumping off the low ground. Ah, there we go. So he does escape once again here. And still only one unit has actually been lost thus far for DIMAGA. So the Reapers haven't really done too much.
Yeah, he's got the 2nd Queen now. So he's going to be perfectly safe against this. Look at those players, man. They're really fast.
Yeah.
DIMAGA's hand, very impressive.
Just cranking this out.
Hands, magic fingers.
Magic fingers. They want to set the pace for themselves, not only at the speed and the tempo that they want in the game, but also try and once again tickle away at their opponents, try and set the pace in game. And those Hellions now, they're going to try here for MVP. Noticeably though, he hasn't got any Marauders on the way just yet, so it's not going to be that super similar style that we were seeing for TLO versus MVP here.
Yeah, DIMAGA right now is getting a forced queen. He knew that MVP seemed to be wanting to play very aggressively. Oh, one of those queens getting a little bit too far out of the creep here, going to be transfused, but he's getting a forced queen, so he's going to have 3 queens at his expansion. He's going to be very safe. He's got the spine crawler as well. And whoa, he made a good bunch of Zerglings here. He's trying to get a surround maybe, or do a run by the natural of MVP.
Yeah, it's a lot of Zerglings, especially with no wall off at this natural, so those Zerglings could actually do some quite damage. He's trying to surround them from the low part here to try and bring those Zerglings in from the top and get the surround, but no, he's not allowed to do so. A lot of the Zerglings did die after those Hellions, but all these SCVs might end up dying. He can't raise the supply depots. If he does, then the Zerglings flood on in.
Yeah, and 3 SCVs have been killed only. But he's prevented some mining time, and DIMAGA is going to find himself on 41 drones against 27 SCVs, so that was totally worth it here. In the meantime, he's able to start his 3rd hatchery. He's got some Zerglings just right above it, ready to protect it with their lives. And DIMAGA, I like the way he's walling by his expansion, making sure no Hellions can get in. He's getting the Roach Warren as well. He does look like he might go into a range style, but he could still throw down Baneling Nest behind this, just get a few Roaches to make sure he doesn't take too much damage from many Hellions. And MVP's getting he's got a tank already. He's getting a 2nd one. So this could be just to defend, to make sure he doesn't get all in and dies.
Yeah.
In which case he will stop after 2 or 3 tanks, or he could be going into tank heavy production here. I don't think it's not going to be mech, obviously, because he's got a double engineering bay. He's got the 2 barracks as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was that heavier siege tank style, because what we've seen from DIMAGA time and time again against all the Terrans he's been playing is just Roaches, range focus here with that range upgrade going down as well as the carapace. So DIMAGA's not really deviating things up too much, whilst MVP, he knows exactly what he has to do against that kind of style.
Yeah, MVP completely anticipated this here.
Wait a minute, Spire goes down. So DIMAGA...
Oh, and he cancelled
and the scan!
He cancelled the missile attack upgrades. DIMAGA had started the missile attack upgrade earlier. He just cancelled it and started Zerg melee. I think it's because he saw the tanks. He must have sent a Zergling that died. Look, one of the siege tanks has 1 kill.
Yeah.
On the cliff.
Yeah,
whoa, DIMAGA keeps changing his mind here. He got scanned.
This is really... That scan
so smart.
was so clutch there by MVP, getting the intel he needed, but now cancelling that, getting that infestation pit down, the Baneling Nest. DIMAGA's gone through all the mid-game tech he could possibly do, and now he's settled on one.
I love how we went from Roach Hydra to Mutas to Zergling Infestor now, and Banelings.
Yeah, and with Pneumatize, whoa, wait a minute, he's getting Ventral Sacks already here. So...
DIMAGA just wants to do everything. He can't make up his mind, so he's decided, you know what? I'm just going to get everything. He's going for some sort of hidden expo, I guess you could say, and he's not necessarily going to be getting Infestors. Okay, never mind. As I said, that he starts Pastoral Glance, and he starts to Hive as well.
Yeah.
So he could just get 5 Infestors to make sure he's safe against any kind of push, and from there, try to take very quickly to Ultras, because he's got the Macroach in his main as well.
I feel it might be clear that DIMAGA's a little bit nervous here because he cancelled Ventral Sacks as well. So he's just trying to kind of click buttons that aren't necessarily the right ones. We have that Hive morphing in, so he wants to go up to those Ultras very quickly. He needs to crank out his melee upgrades, though. They're going to be so late because he started range, because he had to cancel it, because the evolution chambers weren't down as quickly as he would like them to be. But he is doing a good job of denying this base.
Yeah, and that Overlord next to the orbital command runner is smiling at it. It's saying, hello, you can't land for the moment. It's going to take a whole minute to clear this.
The little driver in the command center is just like shaking his fists at him out the side the window, but no, he dies off, and poor little Overlord.
Okay, just 3 Infestors so far. DIMAGA is going to start 2-2 upgrades for his Zerglings as soon as possible, but with the Hive almost finished, oh my god. DIMAGA is going to be getting Ultras very, very quickly in this game.
Ooh, a clutch raise of that supply depot there by MVP. Does not want those Lings to get in and cause a little bit of havoc. As Adrenal Gland starts, where is that Ultralisk Cavern? He needs that down as soon as possible. There we go. It goes down. He just needs to buy time now. If he can get Ultralisks out, but he also needs to get his upgrades out as well, because it's currently 2-2. And 2-2 on the way at exactly the same time for both of these players. An upgraded advantage for the Ultras is very, very key here against this bio.
Look at the production tab. DIMAGA is playing so well. He started all of the upgrades he needed. He knows that he might be behind on supply, and he wants to play it very safe against those drops because he doesn't have Muta. So look in his natural. Actually, the natural gets scanned just now. And MVP is going to be aware of that Ultralisk timing. He could try to attack now, but I don't think he's going to have enough. It's going to be so hard for him to step on creep and take on those Banelings. DIMAGA, double Spore and double Spine on his natural. He wants to play it very safe here.
Liking that. He hasn't actually transferred much up to that hidden location base. He's transferred a few up right now. It hasn't been spotted either by MVP, so that's quite a nice little boom for him.
MVP, he wants to go for it before Ultras are out, so he's going to start moving out, but DIMAGA is aware of that. He morphs in a lot of Banelings, and with the crisp spread, he could just fungal this huge army and do lots of damage to it.
You're right, he has to try here. He has to do something, does MVP, otherwise his timing is going to be gone here. Fungals go down along with a few infested Terrans, but a great split by MVP. Tries to split where he can and push on forwards here, at least killing off a lot of Zerglings. This really, once again, guys, is his timing. Another nice split, but there's a lot of Zerglings trying to clean this up. Trying to buy some more time with these infestors is DIMAGA. The MVP continues on forward. I think, though, MVP can't do much more with this army. And those two Ultralists are on the way very soon, along with a lot of upgrades. Whoa, in fact, one of them just comes out straight away. One Marine does a backflip.
One Ultralisk is chasing all of those units away right now. The MVP is going to drop in the main.
Oh, tries to lock them down with the fungal. Drops some infested Terrans on the high ground just to make sure that he's not going to continue into that path. And now he does have a little bit of energy once again for the fungals. Will lock that down. Has to drop everything. He knows that's going to get killed off.
Whoa, and the two Medivacs make it, but there is only five Marines remaining in those, so the one Ultra and the two Queens here should do a good job against this. And those Medivacs, they're going to be stuck in that space. They try to escape. There is a spore on the way.
Oh, the one carrying everything does go down. The second one lives to tell the tale, but that lost a lot of units. 77 army supply to 76 right now as MVP tries to move down the right-hand side here of this map. But still the Zerglings posing a little bit of a threat to the left for DIMAGA. And how many Ultras does he have right now? 5. He could increase those numbers very, very rapidly once he gets those gases on his 4th base.
And I like the placement on those barracks. This is going to make it very hard for any kind of big Ultralisk attack to be able to get inside of the army of DIMAGA, of MVP, if DIMAGA chooses to attack. So that's very clever. You do this as Protoss as well, because you don't want those Ultralisks to get as much surface area to attack against your army as they would like to. And DIMAGA, with that force base saturated, he's going to be on 8 gases. He started 3-3. He's going very Ultralisk heavy right now. The thing is, he's got the 5 Infestors charging up on energy on the top left-hand side. He could do a timing with 200 supply here momentarily, do a lot of damage to MVP, and then keep on resupplying on Ultras and Zerglings to try and finish him. But he's slowing down the Spire. It looks like he might try to maybe turtle a little bit more than I thought he would here. And whoa, this Medivac gonna fly maybe into 2 spores?
Yeah, that's one thing that's about this map that makes it very hard. Unlike a map like Star Station where drops are very, very easy, on a map like this, there's very little dead space. So these Medivacs really aren't going to do a whole lot. And Mr. TLO says, so I guess I took 5th place at WCS and go to career after all. Really didn't expect that, but, well, congratulations to TLO regardless.
TLO! He's gonna have a good trip, I'm sure. Those Medivacs not really able to do anything. Oh, the one on the top right-hand side is going to
no dead space. You can't do this. You can't just sit in a corner here.
MVP is using this to his advantage. Whoa.
He catches a fungal growth on some of that bio, but he has to pull back. Not all the Ultralisks are there to actually help that out. They're all spread out across the map right now, trying to shut down the drops. He gets one of them, and a few of his units down to the bottom right are just not doing anything. They should push in.
They want to counter that one base, but there is Mans in position.
Oh, that's pretty well fortified, actually. There's even a siege tank there to help that out. The Zerglings all get obliterated very, very quickly, but at the same time, that bunker won't hold on too long for those Ultralisks. The Marauders try and find the base up to the top left-hand corner, kill it, and move on back. MVP is keeping DIMAGA on his toes.
The Ultras are stuck. They come out and end up attacking those Marauders, but they're going to get killed here. And MVP, he's done a lot of damage here. DIMAGA might go for... Oh, he's starting to get a bank. He should. I do think he should go for an attack here. It's just so hard to attack into those barracks when MVP's army is just right behind, but he doesn't have much left.
You're right, choking off his opponent here with these barracks. The infrastructure technically could fall very, very quickly, especially with +3 finishing up in just a second for those Ultralisks. There it goes. But he's getting the Greater Spire behind it, so DIMAGA's playing this game out very long. 11 Corruptors on the way, and it's seemingly... MVP has no intel about this right now, so he's going to be hit by Broodlords.
MVP is Marauder heavy right now. He's got 20 Marauders, 29 Marines. 29 Marines against a bunch of Broodlords and Fungal. That's going to be really hard for him to make this work here. We don't have a single Viking out on the map. I'm pretty sure DIMAGA is going to be able to reach a good Broodlord count, although he does not have all that much gas. He just morphed in some Banelings next to his army to make sure he can really take on this Bioforce on the ground, but he should have prioritized those Broodlords, I think.
Those Broodlords were just out of scan range there, but he throws down 3 more Star Pots, realizing that that's pretty much the time to actually go for that anyway. He only had 1 to begin with, so 3 is a very, very good number here for him, but he's still only on 3 bases worth of economy. So even 2 base, considering his main is actually mined down. He's trying to kill off 1 or 2 of these Ultras, but there's no 4th base down for him. He needs that economy, because right now, once again, the bank is great here for him. Those are some good connections. It looks like he's just going to continue to push in once again here. These Infestors do get 1 or 2 good fungals. Sees all those Corruptors, though. And you're right, the Broodlords are nowhere to be seen, so he needs to bring those along with him to try and shut this army down. There's nothing to really tank for those Ultras. Another drop on the way into the main as well.
And DIMAGA needs to expand a little bit more after he's done defending this, which I think he should be able to. Oh, his Broodlords are flying above some mines right now. He has to be careful.
Well, one of them does get a connection, and in the end, some of the Corruptors get shot at as well. A lot more Zerglings actually pop out here for DIMAGA, as that drop is being pretty annoying in the main. If he could get Baneling Nest, if he could get any tech, that would be a big pickup there for MVP, as he is maxed out right now. Oh! That was a lot of workers killed. He's currently killed off 18 thus far. And he's going to try and snipe out this base up to the top left again. There's nothing he can do about this. He can save all of these units, unless, of course, Fungals hit those medevacs when he retreats.
DIMAGA's army is out of position, and there is a minefield on the way here. It's just so hard for him to reach this, so he's going to give it up. He's trying to take another expansion on the right-hand side. The thing is, MVP has almost mined out all of his bases. I mean, he's not very mineral heavy. He doesn't have much minerals in his natural. His 3rd is quite depleted as well, so this is his last resources, but a drop in the main is taking out the Baneling Nest here.
And those Zerglings here will try and wrap around this entire army. This buys time for the Broodlords and those Ultras to actually get there. And at the same time, you can't pick up and run away. Those Corruptors are going to gun you down, but he does boost on out. He does get away for now.
Fungal.
Yeah, if he'd have fungled that would have all have gone. The lone Swarm host now in production, making sure that he can have hero units out as well.
MVP making sure he can snipe that base on the right-hand side here. He wants to starve DIMAGA on minerals. He wants to make sure he doesn't have any more money.
And another assault here for DIMAGA, trying to pressure where he can. This is all MVP's got. MVP has really not that much economy left. He has to build the one massive army to crush DIMAGA, but DIMAGA is pushing on through. Infested Terrans get thrown down on the high ground, and now MVP is looking a little bit strong all across the map here. He's got a good force at the front, killing off Zerglings, but
1 Swarm host.
Yeah, that 1 Swarm host not really going to do a whole lot, I don't think. And the army value right now, 95 to 84 in favor of MVP, but it's being evened up.
Yeah, and DIMAGA, he researched missile attack level 1. I was wondering why. He might have thought about switching to Swarm host at this point in the game. Somehow he's got only 1. I do think it's a mistake so far, but
whoa, he's clumping up. Oh. Not
MVP,
the best move.
MVP is very far ahead on supply right now, but DIMAGA has got his Infestors. I don't think they ever died this game.
The 1 Swarm host is being utilized down to the bottom. Those 2 Locusts move in. He's like, well, 2 Locusts. I guess I'm just going to scan and kill that Swarm host along with the
Zerglings. He doesn't even need to.
Yeah,
it's tickling him, not
just
killing
sits
anything.
there. Does he drop the scan?
Oh, he misses it. Come on, MVP. You gotta work on your aim, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That tickled me so bad. All right.
Okay, MVP has got a lot of Vikings. Broodlords another. He's getting a Muta. What is he doing? DIMAGA's getting one.
He's getting one
right
Muta.
Now.
That's the hero unit now. He had the 1 Swarm host.
But there's so many Vikings. He should just go into mass ultras now. That's about his only chance in this game.
No, don't doubt the 1 Muta, man. Do not doubt the 1 Muta. He's gonna do it. All right. It's 190 supply right now to 106. DIMAGA is looking kind of starved himself. The incomes for both these players is so low.
That's why he got the Muta. There was a Medivac that kept on being annoying in his main. And MVP is just secured a new base. He knows that DIMAGA doesn't have a running base, a real running base, because he denied the one on the right-hand side a few times. So DIMAGA is mineral starved now. He's not even maxed. MVP is maxed, so he can just wait a little bit more now, make sure he wins from there.
MVP has played this so intelligently on 3 bases worth of economy, and to macro the way he has done and spend his income as he has, as well as go for good trades, apart from that one.
I like how he tried to boost as the last shot was fired. DIMAGA's going to go for it here.
Yeah, I think he has to. I think that he has no other option. He's completely starved up. He's going to try and deal with this. He drops a fungal on some of that bio, but the bio is so well spread anyway. Infested Terrans once again trying to tank some of these shots, but the Ultralisks slowly but surely fall. 123 army supply to 10. GG for game number 1. LGIM's MVP takes the first map here on Neo Planet S.
And DIMAGA's still smiling. Seems a little bit phased by this, but not too much. He knows that he played very well.
He did.
Up until a certain point,
Yeah.
MVP wasn't doing very well in this game. He then suddenly started doing too much damage with some of those drops. He dealt very well with the army of DIMAGA, and then from there, he just secured the game.
You're right. I mean, DIMAGA played a really nice game. He established his 4th base very, very quickly. The 7th and 8th gas geysers were a little bit later than I was expecting, but we can actually go into the GG moment of that previous game to see exactly the reactions of these players. MVP, as always, keeping that mouth open, and DIMAGA not happy in the slightest with that, despite even smiling at the end. So you can never not have a smile from Mr.
I like
DIMAGA.
how he talks to himself.
Yeah?
He's like, too bad.
Oh, well. Oh, well. Mr. MVP says GG in the chat. DIMAGA says MVP. Lucky you, I played bad at the end of that game. Ooh.
Yeah, it seemed at some point like he was not doing as well. You mentioned it. Some of the moves that he made might have come from nervousness there.
Yeah.
Starting the ventral
yeah.
sacks, then cancelling, that's not supposed to happen. That's not something you usually would see from a player of this caliber.
This is a really intimate venue, but it's a huge stage.
Yes.
In the minds of these players, this is massive. And DIMAGA, you saw the hesitation in his games. Roach Roaring, cancel. Going into Spire, cancel. Going into the Infestation Pit. And
That was
ventral
calculated.
sacks.
Ventral sacks wasn't.
No. Well, anyway, we'll see as going into game number 2 now. Spawning down to the bottom right as our Red Terran. Currently 1 game up representing Korea. Give it up for MVP. And spawning down to the bottom left as the Blue Zerg. Currently 1 game down representing Ukraine. Give it up for DIMAGA.
Okay, MVP. He didn't go for a command center first in the first game. Now we're on Newkirk City. The chances of him reverting back to the build he was using earlier versus TLO is quite big here. What do you think?
He definitely could do, and it's not too bad a map for establishing yourself that first
He's ready
command
this
center.
SCV.
Has he? Is it going back?
No.
Oh,
Just below his depot.
Oh, well.
So it doesn't look like a command center first. That's a bit weird. He did so well with the build order that he was using. I mean, he won here, but he looked a lot more convincing versus TLO, I think.
Yeah, it really did. And
Gas 12 again.
Gas
So
12?
Reapers.
Reapers.
He wants to play the exact same builds, it seems like.
I mean, the Reaper option is just so great. It's not going to get a huge amount of drone kills, if any, but it gets you so much intel. It gives you the ability to just mess around with your opponent early on. If you get 1 drone and then they miscontrol queens or miscontrol zerglings, that's an annoying thing as a zerg to deal with early on. And if you do a little bit of damage, it can really throw your opponent off.
Yeah, in the previous game, he even almost forced a spore that completed.
Yeah,
Remember?
exactly.
He brought the drone solo hit points that DIMAGA had to make a spore to make sure they didn't die. And in the end, almost didn't cancel. Oh, wow. He was going to take, DIMAGA was going to take the gas on the right-hand side, but then he changed it the last second for the one on the left-hand side. That's a very early extractor here. I guess it could be anything still. He could just, when I get speed early on, could go for some aggression as well, some different aggression. Do you think a Roach Rush would be good against the way MVP has opened in the previous game?
Well, it's a good point that you bring up, because I think that in game 2 here, DIMAGA might revert to some kind of aggression in the style of something like a Roach Rush. So we'll keep close eyes on his gas here, as MVP is going to throw down that command center on the low ground whilst containing with 2 Reapers.
DIMAGA didn't bother scouting anything with his Overlord here. He's just placed it outside of the base of MVP, making sure he can spot anything that moves out.
Yeah.
He didn't show him anything about his Overlord placement either. So DIMAGA, he has no information whatsoever right now. So this might be a tell about what he might do. Like later on, it might make perfect sense if we see him throw down like a Roach Warren or something and going for some attack.
Well, in essence, he sees the Reapers moving across the map, so that gives him a lot of intel as to how his opponent's opened, and generally he could probably read into that and say, well, maybe you've just opened in exactly the same way as game number 1. The factory's on the way now for MVP behind this, and because the Reaper opening is so common, I think DIMAGA was probably expecting this in the end.
Yeah, and DIMAGA stopped mining gas after 100, so that's just going to be spin now. I guess he knew that the Reaper was on its way to his base as well, so as soon as he chases out the Reaper, if he starts mining gas as well, that could be a big tail, but so far, he's not... Well, those Reapers are not out of it just yet. They're gonna try to be annoying for a little while longer, and no, DIMAGA, it doesn't look like he wants to resume gas mining here.
And we shall see. Whoa, one drone kill there for the cost of a Reaper. Nice trade in the end. If this game goes on for much longer, then that does hinder him somewhat. Second command center starts as well here for MVP, so really not deviating himself. And it's a good option. It's the most standard, safest, strongest economy build that you can possibly go for here as a Terran. As long as he keeps an eye on his opponent's kind of tech or at the front of his base, making sure he can kind of contain him, etc. He's gonna be looking good here in game number 2.
DIMAGA has gone up to 3 queens here, and well, one of those... He's in an interesting position just right above his ramp, making sure no Reapers can get in there safely. He's going to start creep spreading very soon. He's already starting to invest into a third base. He's probably anticipating, the quick third command center out of MVP, so he's not even going to bother really scouting for it. DIMAGA, that's a little bit risky. Imagine MVP went for the same type of push that we saw 4GD do before with the Hellions and the very bio-heavy composition. It could be tough, but that's not what MVP wants to go for here. He's throwing down the armory and the starport as well, so we might have some Elbat drops.
Yeah, and the Roach Warren is on the way to try and defend against such eventualities, but the 4 Hellions are moving across the map right now in the middle there. There's a few Zerglings actually poking around here and having a little bit of luck, and he does see that third command center with an Overlord. But still, these Zerglings being annoying, they pulled the Hellions back, and that's good, because now DIMAGA knows that they're a threat, and now he can defend his third a little bit easier and not transfer over there so quickly.
And also seeing the third command center, if you're sure about it, you can evaluate how much your opponent is going to have at a certain point. Or you know that he's not going to have too much anytime soon. So then you can be a little bit greedier with the droning. You just get a few roaches to make sure you can defend safely against those Hellions or those Hellbats that might come. I'm not sure how much he might be or not expecting those Hellbats, but... well, those Hellions shouldn't be able to do too much here, but if they... Oh, DIMAGA has to be careful. He doesn't have any transfuse on his other queen here.
Yeah, cool scan. Actually spots exactly how many units are up on this high ground. He does get one of the Hellions, but at the cost of a queen. Not the best trade there for Mr. DIMAGA. But he spotted the gases as well, so he knows a lot of gas is being taken and Hellbat drops.
The Medivac is going to fly past the Overlord. DIMAGA should have seen this. Yeah. This was in range, so let's see if he gets ready or not. MVP is doing a good job of keeping the watchtower, and he should be going for a run by in the natural, maybe with his Hellions while he drops the Elbats in the main. Oh, DIMAGA, did he not see this drop? He's not preparing anything for the main. No Spore, no Spine, he has no units there.
He's got 3 Roaches about to pop, but where are they going to pop? And even still, those 3 Roaches aren't really going to do too much against that. Not in the main, as those Hellbats do enter. And he's pulled all the drones away. Hasn't really lost that much just yet, but he has to try and find another location, but he's going to try and pressure at the third as well. During all of this, a great multi-pronged attack by MVP, trying to kill off how many drones? How many has he actually killed off so far? He's killed off 8 and 9 now. Will he get any more? 10. Good focus fire there from DIMAGA, bringing down that medevac. He has to deny the retreat, but still, 13 workers have been killed off. 48 to 47 right now.
And DIMAGA, he has to resaturate in every single base. He lost lots of mining time here. He went down to very low income. He's going to have to resume this. He's on 50 drones to 48 SCVs, so not doing too bad. Definitely would like to be doing better at this point. But another Hellbat drop in the natural. I think MVP realized that the natural is the least protected area. No Spines, no Spore.
Just a few Zerglings, just a queen, not really too much at all. He's seen the Roach Warren, he saw the double evolution chambers whirring away. He's going into mech play here, as we now have that medevac moving out, just a little bit of a retreat.
Yeah, and we had some cool tweet by Tara Babcock here, talking about one of the players. Was it MVP or DIMAGA? She said smiling, so giggly, so it must have been DIMAGA.
Definitely. if anybody's smiling and anybody's giggling,
well,
it's certainly
MVP
DIMAGA.
too, though, to his defense.
That's true. He has a cute smile as well.
Whoa.
I shouldn't say that, should I? All right, so 2-2 on the way here for DIMAGA as well. With that glue constitution finishing up in just a second, a lot more drones on the way, and he didn't spot the transfer over to that base, but he is supply blocked at this point. But this is a lot of mech that's going to be rolling out for MVP, and unless DIMAGA sets his opponent back, the mech is going to gather a lot of momentum. It really depends on how the engagement's going to come.
That's such an interesting route that this Medivac is using. MVP really trying to surprise DIMAGA here. Oh, it looks like it's going to work.
And he gets even more drone kills. Has to be forced to pick up, though. Those Roaches and Zerglings did a good job of fending that off, but still, every single drone kill that happens here, with another Medivac drop moving down to the south, trying to kill off drone after drone after drone. That's a big blow to DIMAGA when he's trying to amass an army against a meching player. I'm not even sure he has full intel that his opponent's meching. He hasn't seen any of the production.
Yeah, I don't think he has. And oh, he's morphing an Overseer just right next to MVP's base.
Well, there you go. He needs the intel. He really does.
And the Overseer should be getting in there very soon here, but there was a Viking looking for it, but it missed it barely. The Viking is close to DIMAGA's base. It missed the Overlord right next to his base. So if MVP had got that, it would be much harder for DIMAGA to be able to scout with an Overseer, but he's forgot about his Overseer right now. He needs to know about this. Although he's getting Roaches, it does look like DIMAGA somehow knows about this. I guess when you play against this many Hellbats, it's almost always going to be mech. You never see Terrans keep on dropping Hellbats and then going into bio.
Well, it's going to be hard for DIMAGA to shut this mech play down with Roach Hydra against Siege Tank Hellbat. That is so much damage.
He's going to need Vipers, I think.
Yeah, just...
support.
Yeah.
Or drop.
Yeah, both. I mean, the ability to throw down the blinding cloud on siege tanks is a massive, massive advantage. The Overseer needs to get in there and see exactly what's going on. It morphed in a while ago, and it will actually go along because it does have pneumatized carapace, so it's very, very quick little guy, and he spots pretty much everything. So now he knows what he's up against.
I like how... Oh, he's dancing between turrets. It's not going to get away.
No. Well, there's a lot of Roaches in production. Well, how many do we have on the field right now? 55 in total. That is a lot here. And he's actually bringing Overlords forwards with him. I'm wondering if he's wanting to try and soak up something like Widow Mines, but there aren't any on the field, so...
This is such a good map for mech, because look at MVP's army around his third base. He could just secure himself the fourth base right next to it. It looks like him... Whoa, DIMAGA is going to drop on top of this, I think. He
doesn't have Ventral, so if he gets Ventral, maybe he's forgotten
I'm surprised, yeah. He had some Overlords over there. Maybe he might have faked a drop, but seems a little bit strange. I think DIMAGA behind this, he wants to go into Broodlords, but MVP is almost always going to hit when he's almost maxed or when he is maxed, and that's going to be so hard for DIMAGA to hold. And then, well, not even hold, just I'm guessing his army will die. He will try to trade and then remake an army, but that's going to be very hard every single time.
Well, you're right. The timing where that Spire finishes up and the Greater Spire starts morphing in is probably the time around where MVP, if he continues on this macro path, it maxes out and gets good to go. Along with a Thor in the mix and so many siege tanks actually being produced. He had 4 on the way at any given time there, with so many command centers going down as well. MVP is getting good to roll.
Whoa, and perfect scan here. He's spotted to have. He sees the Spire as well, so he's going to know that his opponent wants to go into Warlord. Remember, when MVP saw the Ultras on the way in the previous game, this triggered a huge attack in which he tried to do as much damage as possible to reduce the army size of DIMAGA before he gets those Ultras, in which case it would be much harder to fight. So now, does this trigger an attack right now? Yes, MVP is unsieging.
The Greater Spire...
As I say that.
Yeah. Nicely done, Todd. The Greater Spire is on the way, though. He doesn't have any Corruptors out just yet. So he needs to make Corruptors whilst all of this is going on. Along with +3 range, +3 armor here, the Roaches need to trade so well against this army, but those Hellbats are going to tank a lot, especially if he can actually move some of those siege tanks back. DIMAGA cannot take this fight straight up. He has to spread himself out. He has to come in from so many angles. He's been so good about that during WCS EU so far, but now pinned up against this, how well is he going to do? He constantly pushes in once again, trying to close the gap between all of this, but the siege tank line goes on for so long. He's going to kill off a lot of them at the front, but it goes on and on and on, and DIMAGA has to fall back.
Yeah, for the moment, he's going to try to remake as much units as possible. In the meantime, try to remax. He knows that MVP, it's harder for him to send in reinforcements because the units that come out of his factories, they are very, very slow. So DIMAGA, he needs to wait for as long as possible here and try to engage with a superior army. He's got just 1 Viper so far. Oh, no, he's got 4.
Yeah, he's got quite a lot.
Whoa, so 5. That's getting very scary here for MVP. He could use Abducts, he could use Blinding Clouds, both.
Yeah, he really could. Both of them are a great option here. Pulling siege tanks out of position so your roaches can kill them off, and just denying the damage being done completely by that blinding cloud is fantastic. Viking production has already begun here for MVP, though. There's no corruptors out on the field to make any brood lords. So MVP right now, I think he's sitting very, very pretty here, despite DIMAGA sitting at that 100, 200 supply mark.
Oh, and DIMAGA's looking to maybe use some preemptive blinding clouds. He's gonna start streaming in there.
Very, very nice positioning on those blinding clouds. He gets almost every single little pack of them. There's only 4 siege tanks that can actually do some damage here. Whilst he pushes in, what a great move here by DIMAGA. And no damage is being done to these roaches. MVP just has to sit there. Now they're doing the damage, but it gets cleaned up. What a great engagement there by DIMAGA. Fantastic.
And DIMAGA could try to finish from there. He could just remake lots of units. He's getting 23 extra roaches. He's gonna press forward. He should be able to take this planetary fortress with this amount of units. He's got 2 upgrades.
If he kills that off, that's nice.
Oh, this is very close, but more units keep getting in. The Hellbat's trying to save.
Yeah, the Hellbats are on the way. He's trying to deny it where he can, but I don't think it's going to die. Even Blinding Cloud on Planetary Fortress, does that work? Maybe.
Apparently it does.
I've never tested that before.
She's not shooting.
All right, well, yeah, and just to begin shooting once again. And the Ultralisk Cavern's now on the way as well for DIMAGA.
I like how one tank in the middle of the map was forgot about. That poor guy.
He's like, oh, you're leaving me alone? Oh well, I'm dead now. And even the Hellbats now trying to do some damage. This is really down to the wire. MVP needs a lot of time to recuperate himself, whilst DIMAGA has great tech, great income, the ability to switch things up. He's getting air armor, so now he could start those corruptors with those Broodlords transitions.
He's getting Chitinous plating. If he wants, he can go for Ultras as well. He's got 3 upgrades now for his ranged units, so he's gonna start upgrading the Zerg melee attacks level 1 as well. He's getting the Zerg Flyer Carapace, so I still think he wants to get Broodlords later on. He doesn't have the gas right now.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's he needs to accumulate that as quickly as he possibly can do. Another base going to go down up to the top right here. MVP, as you said, gas starved. Lots of minerals, plenty of them, but not the ability to produce the exact army he would like to. He needs to get rolling once again, but how many Vipers do we still have? 4, all with full energy. So that's very, very nice for him here. Those blinding clouds, so important.
MVP has 10 command centers in this game.
Wow.
That's pretty insane. DIMAGA, oh, I like this move. Sending in the roaches into this one base here. They should be able to kill those Hellbats and then start taking out SCVs. But MVP is on 66 SCVs. He has a lot of orbitals. Losing 10 here wouldn't really affect him.
I think, though, that if somehow, some way, DIMAGA MVP keeps fighting this, the Vikings, if they can catch the Vipers, that's going to be where MVP comes back. DIMAGA with that lead right now, but MVP could certainly claw it along with those Vikings. A few Hellbats do get sacrificed. But on the reverse side of that, the Hydralisks coming out, if he abducts all the Vikings into those Hydralisks, which I've seen time and time again in this matchup, is also extremely pivotal.
Yeah, but keep in mind, we have only 1 starport here by MVP, so he's got those 10 Vikings. As you said, if he loses them, he's going to be in lots of trouble in case we see Broodlords or Mutas being made right after.
He's going to move on forwards once again, is DIMAGA. He's just creep spreading as best he can do. Slowly but surely, though, he's giving MVP time to get his infrastructure back up and running, get his economy going. DIMAGA has a great bank behind this. Not that much gas, though.
He's going to try for a sneaky attack here. He's hoping there isn't a huge part of the army of MVP.
Catches a few of those units, but he loses a few of the Vipers in the process. Some of the Vikings did end up going down to those Hydralisks. He's going to try and power on forwards once again. Not that many units to actually tank for these Hydralisks, though. He's going to lose a lot of Hydralisks here. I'm kind of worried about this because MVP moving in from the back catches all of these units with the siege tanks. And I can't help but feel equalizes things up a little bit.
Yeah, but DIMAGA is so rich anyway.
Yeah.
He wants to remax behind this. The problem is the gas. DIMAGA has not been doing the best job of mining from all the gases that are on his side of the map. There is 2 bases from which he's not mining on. Even this one, yeah, the one that we're seeing now. There is only 1 drone on this extractor.
MVP has the army lead in terms of supply right now, just by a little bit.
He's gonna go for it now. He's gonna start moving across the map. After you kill a lot of your opponent's army, you always wanna try and attack or at least pressure. And MVP is not maxed yet, but he feels confident enough to move across the map and not give his opponent enough time to get the perfect composition.
I don't think Roche Hydra is enough to deal with this. He needs more energy on those Vipers. They have around half energy each, but he's trying to get some evolution chambers down so he can drain once again. Some blinding clouds do end up landing, but not as many as there were before there. There's a lot of tanks going all the way behind this. Not that many units to tank for all those Hydralisks. MVP has split his units up very, very nicely, sieging up once again at the very back. A great blinding cloud on those clump of siege tanks at the back, though. And MVP, slowly but surely, I think he may end up cutting all of this down, but actually, the units up to the top have killed off all the siege tanks as well, and DIMAGA pushes on through.
Yeah, you're right. Roach Hydra wasn't enough to defend against this, but what about Roach Hydra Viper?
Vipers, man, they help out a lot. Oh, but still some siege tanks back here. MVP is holding on. Fly away, Roach.
And Ultras are on the way behind these 5 Ultras, so DIMAGA spending lots of his gas behind this. He's trying to get an ideal composition against this, which I think will be Brood Lords, but he feels like he doesn't have the time.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem here. MVP is not giving DIMAGA any time to get his perfect army composition, and DIMAGA is still not taking the gases on this top left-hand side base, or even the one just below that. So he could have a lot more gas right now if he did that a little bit better, and MVP is just gonna wanna look to punish that because he sees no Brood Lords so far. He's feeling confident. He starts moving in the middle of the map again.
He's going to actually just go for this. Whoa, the Ultralisks just swinging on in here. Will they be able to tank enough of this damage from all of those siege tanks in the back? The siege tank line doesn't go back far enough, apparently, as once again, Blinding Clouds and Abducts pulls them straight into the Kaiser Blades of those Ultralisks. Powering on forwards once again is DIMAGA. 200 supply against 110. This is where he may be able to just shut down the Terran completely, but he pulls on back for now. This is so close.
Yeah, DIMAGA could just finish it here, I think. Look at the supply. MVP, he's got only 62 army supply to 122. Double the supply for DIMAGA here, and he got a much stronger bank as well. Imagine he goes for it now, he trades his army, he remaxes on roaches, and he keeps on rallying them across the map. The thing is, DIMAGA has used a lot of energy during this last fight, so he could wait until he gets more on his Vipers, but no, he's not going to wait.
Those Ultralisks come in from either side. Siege tanks, you have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, but the Planetary Fortress trying to hold on strong, but I don't think it's going to in the end. It burns down and gets completely shredded, along with the Roaches powering on behind this for DIMAGA. All the Siege tanks trying to run away desperately, but the economy has been really hurt here for MVP, and DIMAGA's playing a great game number 2.
This is like one of the best tutorials I've seen on how to play versus Mag on this map, in my opinion.
Yeah.
DIMAGA doing so well with those Vipers. He has to be careful. He should be pulling back with this army until reinforcements arrive here. But MVP, having lost this base, his income is not going to be too great. He's got only minerals on 2 of his remaining bases, while DIMAGA has a huge advantage right now, so he can just expand over and over again and never let MVP take and expand again.
I'm so surprised that the income is very, very close right now. It's... whoa, well, MVP actually just threw down a couple of mules, and now he's flying once again. 12 mules out right now, just 12. Not too bad here for MVP.
And DIMAGA finally taking the gases on the top left-hand side on his base, so as soon as he gets that going, MVP is scanning the middle base on the left-hand side as well of DIMAGA, the latest one that he's taking right now, just below the one where DIMAGA just took his gases. So he's going to be able to be aware exactly how much gas DIMAGA has right now. Kind of guess. You always want to know where your opponent is at economically. And MVP, I have to say, economy-wise, he's not lacking gas too much. He's been doing a very good job with his gases, with the way he spent his money. He's not gone for Ravens, so he never dumped all of his gas into anything. So he still has a chance in this game, but DIMAGA, he should be careful to make sure he doesn't throw it away by being too passive or something like that. We've seen this happen before. As MVP tries to go for another Hellbat drop here, this should not do too much as long as DIMAGA is careful.
Yeah, he's trying to wiggle it around, trying to find a way to do some damage, but at the same time, whoop, does get pulled away, and that poor medevac hit that hatchery.
It drifted in the air before exploding.
Yeah, it did. It's fast and furious medevac, man. Doing all right for itself.
Newkirk drift.
Newkirk drift. All right. Well, we have more command centers on the way for MVP. And still the income's looking pretty good for DIMAGA once again now. But MVP needs to try and re-establish a base. It gets to the point where you're meching as a Terran, and that's a really strong army. But the versatility of DIMAGA's army, I think, always wins out. The Blinding Clouds are the big winners here.
I think DIMAGA has had enough. He's going for it now. This might be the final fight of this game.
He's very, very clumped up. Very clumped up indeed. He has to be pretty careful. He throws down a few Blinding Clouds on just 2 siege tanks. There's a lot of siege tanks there, though, in the back. He's not sieging up. He knows that if he does, he's going to get shut down by Blinding Clouds. The only hope he actually has here is to stay unsieged, go for it, sieging up just a few of them after the Blinding Clouds have actually been vanquished. And DIMAGA has now actually sacrificed a lot of his army.
What's going on here?
takes a supply lead for a second.
Yeah, DIMAGA sent his Vipers first. They got sniped, and he forgot some of those at home.
Oh, that's so many Vipers. If they'd have been there, if the blinding clouds had hit that mech army, then DIMAGA would have arguably steamrolled that a lot easier.
Yes. MVP, he had a great move here. He left his Vikings ahead of his army. He pulled back his army, making sure he doesn't get blinding cloud on top of his tanks again, and loses everything with the tanks being on strike, basically. But DIMAGA forgetting all of these Vipers behind, huge mistake there. Look at his gas. He's very gas-starved here again. He's finally took the final gases he had to take, but
11 Corruptors on the way. I was gonna say, I don't think going this many Hydralisks is the way you should be going, but with those Corruptors, and he sees a lot of the Hydras. He didn't see the Corruptors though.
Yeah, he only saw the Vipers. Trying to get energy. That's too many Vipers, I feel.
You think?
He's got 7. That's a bit too
that
much.
is a lot.
I think like 5 or 4 usually is ideal. If they are full energy, you don't need more than that. But then again, you know, if he ends up using blinding cloud on the entire army and crushes MVP.
If he's got 7 on full energy, then he has 14 blinding clouds to use against the army. How many Vikings do we have out? 9.
What MVP is doing? He's making turrets and sensor tower. He knows that this is going to be coming. He wants to split the map from there.
Look at his spread on these siege tanks.
Wow, that's
fantastic. Just, he can't actually have more than 2 siege tanks in any position, because if he does, blinding cloud just makes that horrendously hard for him to do any damage.
Oh, this Spore Zergling on the top right hand side will be killed. MVP wants to expand there. And DIMAGA is doing a lot of running around here. He has to be careful some of those Vikings.
Yeah, he needs to retain those Vikings. That's so important. He drops the scan once again, seeing exactly where these Hydralisks are. Forces away some of those Hellbats, but that, he's... How much gas? He only has 800 gas, so he can't morph in as many Broodlords as we would love to see from DIMAGA here. And still, MVP now pushing on forward. MVP is being so resilient. He should have been dead like 3 times in this game.
Yeah.
But he hasn't died. He refuses to die here in game 2. Corvid Reactor and Ravens. We're going to see some explosions.
And MVP is only on 2 starports. One of those has a tech lab and is making Ravens. The other one has a reactor and it's making Vikings. So he could be doing better starport-wise. He's getting a 3rd one right now. And if he can get more gas and he starts getting Ravens, MVP is one of the best players at using Ravens. I think we've seen some epic games out of him before, as 2 tanks will be abducted here and sniped, but 4-1 Viper.
That was the shortest abduct I've ever seen, that second one. It's just like hopscotch over the other over the other siege tank there, a little leapfrog. Leapfrog even. I don't know why I said hopscotch. I don't know why. Anyway, so yeah, Corvid Reactor is going to finish up along with that 2nd starport, or is that the 3rd one?
Yeah, that's the 3rd one.
All right, okay then.
2 tech lab starports.
4th one. Okay, so he's got more starports out than I imagined, but he's sealed off his side of the map. Engaging into that mech army in that position with missile turrets and Vikings is suicide for DIMAGA.
Yeah, it will be so hard, but he's gonna try to shoot the static defense away from the turrets with his Broodlords. The thing is, he's going to come down to Corruptors versus Vikings. Vipers, they won't help versus Vikings unless they abduct them. That will be pretty clever. You mentioned it, he will only trade energy for actual units then.
Yeah, and he should abduct some of them. No, he's just barely out of range. Oh, he catches one of them. And a few more as well, but doesn't kill off that many in the end. The Broodlords are really causing him a big problem though. He tries to move on forwards, tries to focus one of them down at least, but he has to trade fully with these Corruptors right now. Even missile turrets helping out a lot here. So this battle is going to be so back and forth, but another great snipe out of 1 or 2 of those Broodlords. Tries to micro on back. The Vipers move on forwards here. They get killed off as well. The Hydralisks on the ground are being obliterated by siege tank after siege tank. And slowly but surely, DIMAGA is getting worse trades, but he has a great bank.
Yeah, look at the bank. MVP is broke behind this. This is his last army. He's trying to scramble any unit out he can from his...
Hunter Seeker missiles. Oh, he throws down PDDs instead here to try and soak up what he can whilst engaging into this army. The siege tanks all on siege as well. MVP right now, army supply 108 to 40. He could actually go on a march.
He's gonna hold, it looks like. Oh, he has to be careful against these Corruptors. He needs to get those 4 Broodlords. They cannot get back home.
He's chasing it away. There's nothing DIMAGA can do actually to save all of this. The Corruptors are going to go down.
26 Mutas.
Oh, the Muta switch. That could win him the game right here. He has 800 gas as well. Todd, your Muta switch comes into play. Not in the right matchup, but it's here. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
All right, Hunter Seeker missiles is going to play a huge part in this.
And MVP, he has no idea. He's not. Oh, he's starting to scan. He's scanning in the middle of the map on the left-hand side. He's trying to see exactly what he's going to be up
35 mutas. He sees some pop out now. He knows they're there. He starts 2 more Ravens.
He needs Thors.
He needs, well, if he has 7 Ravens with energy for Hunter Seekers, that could be his way in. And those Vikings are providing a lot of firepower as well. And he's only just getting +2 air weapons on those mutas right now.
He's got 3 carapaces, but that's not going to be so important on the mutas. And I think DIMAGA is going to want to take out that most important base of MVP.
Oh, yeah.
Which right now is kind of feeling like Christmas with all of these mules, by the way. But
wow, Christmas.
How fast is this going to fall, guys?
Pretty darn fast. The Mutalist is going to say, no more Mule Day for you. And he's actually just going to start picking off some siege tanks because that's a pretty nice pickup in itself. 3 Thors start.
The Ravens are moving in position.
Oh, they have a lot of energy saved up. Those Vikings are going to try and shoo them away as well.
MVP doesn't
he needs to pull back.
Whoa.
Once this actually engagement comes, he throws down a few Hunter Seeker missiles on the entirety of these Mutalisks. He catches, oh, some of them go down. How many are actually left here, though? Unit counting station, 21 Mutalisks still remain. There's not enough anti-air for him to deal with this. 4 Vikings and 2 Ravens remain. 5 Thors are in production. He needs these Thors out now to deal with this. Otherwise, this army is laid bare to waste. The missile turrets fall as well. DIMAGA, playing out a 40-minute game, is now on the verge of pushing all of this back, but the Thors pop.
Yeah, and 16 mutas are left. There is only tanks against those mutas.
Run away!
And MVP, his base lived on the top right-hand side. I think DIMAGA is about to take this out, in which case MVP would have absolutely no income. He's got a very few mineral patches on his 4th base and 5th base, but not much money left there, I have to say. Whereas DIMAGA, he's got a big bank. He could go for lots of Zerglings in support for those mutas.
MVP has been dying slowly for the last 25 minutes.
It's impossible for DIMAGA to win a ground fight right now against this many tanks, so he has to go for air, but the MVP, he holds against air every time.
The standard extra now 5 Ultralisks to complement Zergling Roach Muta play here at 41 minutes. And even Queen's marching across the map here. So many Thors are actually being mixed in right now. He's going to go up to 10 very soon. That's a lot of anti-air, but magic boxing, as well as maybe even focus fire from the ground army, could shut that down. And army supplies right now, 115 to 128 in favor of DIMAGA.
Yeah, and Zerg flyer attacks level 3 is being researched now as well. Are we going to see fully upgraded armies from DIMAGA, whether it's ground or air? And fully upgraded mech?
These armies are so close. I mean, the supply counts here themselves don't tell the full story because MVP is just using mules to mine. And his army is still extremely strong. He throws down a blinding cloud on a lot of those siege tanks. That's going to negate so much of that damage. MVP has to micro out of that whilst all the ground army chases him down. Are these Mutalisks going to live long enough here to kill off what they need? There's 8 Thors left out on the field. Unit counts for the Mutalisks, 15 left. 6 more Thors left here. Oh god, it's so close. DIMAGA, still, he's down in supply once again.
Wow, and DIMAGA, what composition does he go for behind this? He's got only, well, he's just made up his mind. He's going for Ultras and lots of Zerglings. He doesn't have the gas to keep on making mutas or getting broodlords here. And DIMAGA is expanding on MVP's side of the map. Wow. And this is his in range of one of the sensor tower. MVP is going to be aware about this. MVP, he sees the mutas right now on the mini-map, thanks to his sensor tower, so he's gonna get into position to try and defend, but only 1 turret there.
Yeah, missile turret doesn't help that at all. He needs to retain all of the income he possibly can do right now. The Thors, slowly but surely, are gonna get outmaneuvered by these Mutalisks if he keeps dancing around with them. And again, MVP's income is looking 1,200 income for a second there against 1,800 of DIMAGA whilst he gets that base up. This is...
The units lost tab somehow is very even. DIMAGA actually lost more than MVP so far this game. So MVP, if he can survive this attack and take 1 more expand, he might be able to win, but it's all going to be about this attack here, I feel. I might have said this before, but that's going to be a very important one here.
Yeah, it really is. Whoa, the Zerglings, they're going to get roasted up by those Hellbats pretty darn quickly. He repositions his Ultralist. That was a fantastic move there with his ground army. The Mutalisks are actually going down in numbers very rapidly. There's only 6 Mutalisks left. 11 Thors still remain. The blinding clouds are not actually soaking up the damage, and MVP has killed off all of the Ultralisks. He killed off all the ground army. The Mutalisks are going to go down.
Yeah,
the
no
army
Vipers are left.
86 army count to 60 in favor of MVP. Oh, but he's going to get this base. No, he's not! Stop doing this to me!
DIMAGA is pulling back right now. He's trying to get as many low tier units as he can. He's actually going into 4 queens here. I think he might... Wow, imagine if he had done this before, got only ultras and queens. He might have been able to completely break MVP.
Yeah,
he realizes it a little bit too late here. He's very gas starved.
Transfuse is so good in that situation, but MVP's army it's a very immobile one, but it's a ridiculously strong one at the same time. And
I like MVP's work accounts, 14.
Yeah, I mean,
keeping it simple.
Mules are good. 14 to 69 workers here. DIMAGA trying to plow out the income he needs.
The 3 mutas.
The 3 mutas. You're not going to do much, guys. I'm sorry.
The last 3 of their species. 3 Corruptors are being made now, so DIMAGA, he could try to go for some Broodlords.
Going back to Broodlords, man. Why not? It's a good idea. Deviating up, once again, your tech here, when your opponent is very limited in income, means that he can't really account for every single little eventuality that would come along. And now MVP, once again, slowly is having every single one of his bases shut down. This base being shut down now means that he has very little income once again.
And MVP's Thors, they are quite injured here. He doesn't even have the money to really repair them. The army supply right now, 116 for DIMAGA, 107 for MVP. This is very even. But with all those hit points missing on MVP's army, it's not as strong as it should be. He needs to get all of this repaired. He needs to secure the last remaining bases on his side of the map. And DIMAGA is not he doesn't want to let this happen. He's morphing in Broodlords now.
Yeah.
He could even bring Spines and Spores across the map
to
try and finish it.
We don't have any Vikings. We don't have any Ravens. It's all going to be down to Thors. And
no, there is a lot of them.
Yeah, there is, but Thor's dealing with that army in its entirety is so hard. Oh, poor Muta. Was that the last one? It was.
I think so.
Oh, well, bless it. So, now, Broodlord's morphing in. This is it. This is where MVP really makes his last stand, because he has very little money left. He has very little economy left. He's trying to get that base up to the top right.
Yeah, MVP is actually completely mined out from every single one of his bases right now, so DIMAGA is going to be soon as well. MVP is scanning all over the place right now. He's trying to locate the army of DIMAGA. He might be able to realize very soon that he's close to him. It's just so hard for DIMAGA to attack through this place, but it might end up helping him. All this area over which he can fly above with his Broodlords, there's, as you said, there is only the Thors against the Broodlords. How are those going to fare against some Broodlords on the higher ground here?
He's morphed in the armor firing for these Thors here, so he can actually start berating them very quickly, but the Queens are going to keep them alive for a long time. Those Broodlords are just not going to die. The Hellbats are trying to kill off a lot of the Zerglings here, and you're right, actually, the ground army for DIMAGA is not connecting with all of this, but the Broodlords are still alive. They're still raining down havoc on this army, but their Thors are just not dying either. Ultralisks and Roaches dying from the south, but DIMAGA is slowly but surely killing off the remainder of MVP's army. Army supplies, there were 64 to 65, but DIMAGA he could make a lot of Zerglings at least.
Yeah, he could go for some Roaches as well. He goes for 1 Ultra, some Roaches, some Zerglings, and 7 Queens here.
7 Queens. Well,
I don't think those are going to help a lot in this one of these final armies that he's getting here, because he doesn't have the Ultra count.
Oh, this could be MVP's way back into this game. Those mules, that mineral income is going to spike up pretty darn heavily. 18 mules are out on the field.
Why not?
MVP, if he rebuilds his army here, and if he is able to hold on, this is one of the single greatest defenses and comebacks of a Terran I have ever seen in StarCraft. MVP, if he can get this up and running, he needs gas.
You know, I think MVP right now, he realizes that he's ahead. He's ahead on units loss counts.
Oh my god!
He's killed more, so he has more minerals left on his side of the map. So DIMAGA is the one who has to attack here.
DIMAGA has no bank. He has no bank. This is it. He has to do something. His army supply now is 133 to 97. But MVP has shown time and time again in this game alone that he is resilient.
Oh, this is just so hard for DIMAGA to attack through this point here. He might try to go for an attack from 2 sides and bring his Spines and Spores as well. Right now he's just using the 1 Spine trying to take out a refinery.
That's a pretty...
That's going to take a while.
I mean, why not? Why not? It's going to help him out.
Oh, some queens moving out of position.
Well, denying the gas is very good anyway. He will be able to get that.
No,
and the
the lone
Hellbats,
ultra.
whoa, that one Ultralisk there, not accompanied by the queens. Did get some transfuses off it and saved it eventually. But now there's a big mineral bank up here for MVP. He's getting nothing but Hellbats.
And DIMAGA remaxed somehow. He's getting 2 more ultras. This might be his last army here.
The army values are very, very close. 121 supply to 113 in favor of DIMAGA. He's going to push in here up to the north, but now he loses the army supply advantage. The Hellbats, they're holding strong down to this bottom position. The Ultralisk needs to stay alive. He needs to keep transfusing that Ultralisk. It needs to stay alive. It doesn't. It goes down. And that was tanking a lot of the damage here from these Thors. The army supplies are in favor of MVP against 68 to 81 in favor of MVP. I'm losing all cognitive thought. Todd, save me.
DIMAGA has no money behind this. He's made 2 ultras and 10 roaches. That's okay. That's up. Okay.
The drones.
We've said it many times. That's his last army.
You've tried everything. Go for the drones. Well,
the saviors here maybe MVP. He's lost a lot of his army. He's down to just a very few Thors. Well,
if he transfuses a drone in this fight, I'm going to be the happiest man alive. It's going to be great. Right, okay, these 2 Ultralisks, they need to stay alive once again. They need to tank for the drones to get into combat. As it goes for 68 supply against 98 in favor of MVP. Right now, he is holding on.
He's mining from there.
He is mining. What? No, I wanted to see the drones fight. DIMAGA, go back.
He's going to fight with some of them, but the other ones, they are mining.
MVP is mining more though at this point.
DIMAGA's
and he's going to go for it. He's going to go.
Attack.
This is the final attack. Can DIMAGA actually break him after 54 minutes pushing in with the drones, with the ultras? But there's too many Thors. There are too many Thors. The Queen's down to the south. They're not transfusing the ultras, and I cannot believe it. 101 supply for MVP to a 64 of DIMAGA. How can DIMAGA beat this man? It's not possible.
Yeah, it seems so difficult. Behind this, DIMAGA, he spent all of his money. He had enough money for one
Queens.
Viper, so he's made 1 Viper. That's all. That's the resupply of DIMAGA right now has been a lone Viper. Whereas MVP, he's getting 6 Hellbats. He's getting more tanks, and with the fortified position he has on his remaining base, he's looking to maybe try and resecure this one, which DIMAGA has been leeching from. Let's just call it what it is here.
103 army supply for MVP to 33 of DIMAGA. This static defense in the middle of the map is all that is denying MVP from now marching across the map and securing the victory in a game number 2 that has been the craziest game in WCS Europe so far. MVP, through all assaults, has held on with this mech play on Newkirk Precinct.
Oh, and the base on the top left-hand side is undefended here. DIMAGA is going to stream in there and start taking out SCVs, maybe even force a lift.
He has to do something. He has to try. He's got no money behind this, and he can't combat MVP's army straight up. It's too strong. It's just too strong.
And those Queens, well, they're going to take out the orbital command, or at least force it to move away for the moment, but MVP's army looks so strong here. He's up to 132 army supply against 45.
There's 7 Hellbats on production at any given time. MVP now is in an amazing, amazing position here. Even Hydralisks trying to come out for DIMAGA, but it's not actually going to work out at all. Those roaches here, not really going to do much. An abduction from the Thors. The Queens surround it, have a little bit of a hula dance, but that is it. The Thor ends up falling, but this army is going to march on to victory. And the spines, spores, roaches and queens, not destined for this world. An MVP through all trials that DIMAGA could throw at him. It wasn't enough. MVP kills off the remaining forces of DIMAGA. There's nothing behind this. This has to be it. This has to be the end of game number 2.
Unless those roaches can kill the
There you go. GG. Game number 2 goes to MVP.
Wow, he can't believe it himself, I think.
Wow.
It really looked like he was going to lose at any moment there, but every single attack was held by him.
What a game. What a game. DIMAGA brought out one of the best assaults for 40 minutes straight. He brought out one of the best games he's performed in here in WCS Europe, but it wasn't enough to break the 4-time GSL champion that is MVP. What do you do to stop this man?
Don't ask me.
Oh, Todd, I'm sorry. All right, we are going to go to the reaction of these guys at the very end for the GG and see exactly how DIMAGA reacts. We're just in the end game here. DIMAGA. He's like, just can't break it, guys. Just can't break it.
And MVP was just smiling.
I guess he saw it over the monitor. All right. Well, that was game 2, guys. That was game 2 here in this best of 5. MVP currently 2-0 up. DIMAGA, so frustrated here. How do you break this man? MVP just looked kind of lost in that shot at the end.
What just happens?
Wow.
Both of these players, they're asking themselves just that. And DIMAGA from there, where do you go? In what?
Where do I go? I'm spent.
Yeah. In what state of mind do you go into the next game? What strategy do you go for? I mean, I know this is Newkirk and you see split map situation often, but DIMAGA was just so far ahead. He just had like the most insane bank ever. He threw it all at MVP. MVP held everything. So from there, it's really going to come down to the map and what DIMAGA can think is best here. Does he try to play standard again? Does he try to play what he thinks is best, considering what he had planned before the series? Or does he take this game into consideration and say, you know what, this guy never dies, so I'm just going to try something crazy, which is going to be a high reward, high chance of loss if you fail AK and all in. It's just so hard to get a good game plan versus somebody like MVP who holds everything you throw at him. If you're a DIMAGA here and you're thinking about, you're trying to think, to figure out what mistakes you made in this previous game, I think it will be just so hard to find out what they are exactly.
You're right. It's I can't think of what DIMAGA does now. He goes all in. He just tries to break his opponent with roach aggression. He has to he can't go into a macro game again after seeing that game. Oh my god.
MVP still looking very focused.
Half the crowd has left, seemingly to go to the bathroom, I imagine.
MVP's just getting warmed up, man. He's not phased at all by this game.
Apparently.
He's not impressed.
That was nothing to him. That was just, well, you know, I'm a 4-time GSL champion. I don't really care. All right.
He's had lots of long games.
I was hoping we'd go to a commercial break, but apparently we're just getting into game 3, so I'm doomed. All right, so we are going to jump into game number 3 now here between DIMAGA and MVP.
Star Station,
man. After one of the most ridiculous games I have seen here during WCS Europe. As we have spawning down to the bottom right here as our Red Terran after an insane game number 2. There's not many of you around now, but give it up for MVP. And spawning up to the top left here as our blue Zerg. Currently 2 games down. He needs your cheers as he is on the verge of elimination here in the semi-final. Give it up for DIMAGA.
You guys can't see it, but Skylaris actually just got up and took off his jacket. It's the first time I've ever seen him do that.
It's true, man. I couldn't do it. I was so warm. Anyway, all right. So, Star Station, Todd. You talk for a bit.
Drops.
Is that what you were going to say? More.
I don't know. I mean, MVP, he's not made the command center first yet. I just want to see him do that at least once. It went very well for him before when he did that. Now, Star Station is good for Terran drops, but it feels like Zergs really like this map here. They seem to take it very often. There is lots of room for them to move around, to take lots of bases. Their only problem on this map is going to be drops, obviously, which, to be honest, when you're a Zerg, it seems like any map doesn't really matter regarding drops, because you don't, unless you get Mutas. Wow, and I got my wish.
Hey.
MVP, he's got a great second game. He's just played a great second game. He decided to make me happy, so he goes for the command center first, yeah. Is he gonna scout, okay, the 2 SCVs, so yeah, he's gonna do the exact same build that he did versus TLO previously in this tournament. He knows that it's only cross map. DIMAGA doesn't ever go for drone scout. I'm surprised nobody tries to 2-racks in.
There's 2 things I have to say. One, thank you, Neo Banshee, for that tweet about liking MVP's smile. And secondly, in that previous game, I was pretty worried because I made a bet with someone that MVP was going to 3-0 this. As much as I want DIMAGA to win, I made a bet with someone that MVP is going to 3-0 this. And DIMAGA almost made that wrong. So I'm still on track. I'm doing all right.
You bet against DIMAGA.
I know. I'm sorry, but
You're
MVP
a monster.
Well, I mean,
Monster.
every time I do a write-up about MVP, I say never bet against MVP, and I decided to put that into practice today.
Okay, it's
oh,
okay then. Whoa.
Well, I told you he was going to go all in, but
I told you.
that's going
I
to...
told you he needs to try something.
He
Like,
needs
what
to
do you do against this guy? And he's up against the command center first. So,
All right.
will MVP be ready for this? At least he doesn't go for the very quick third command center. He goes down. He goes for the gas.
Unless he uses that queen to spread creep to that location, then this Roach Warren is timed. This
Yeah,
Roach
he's
Warren
gonna
will
die
start
very
to
slowly.
die.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a quite a big chunk of time, but it still will die.
it's gonna die 5 minutes after the game is over.
all right, fair play. Okay, so Factory is going down as well for MVP.
Oh, he's gonna creep spread.
There
No?
you go. Well,
Is he? No.
Yeah, he
doesn't
is.
have the
He has
energy.
to. Well, eventually he will creep spread because he wants to keep that alive. There's 6 roaches on the way now here, as well as the reactor for MVP. So
And no second queen from DIMAGA, so he's only gonna have the first inject in his main here. I guess he doesn't have the gas for more roaches anyway, but does he go for slowlings behind this? Does he go for drones?
I think
What do
he
you
just
think?
goes for all aggression, full out aggression. The thing
But
is,
he won't have speed.
no, he won't. It's just going to be roaches, I think. And the thing is that, oh, well, he is going to go for drones, but this is really going to catch MVP off guard, and this is fantastic. This is exactly what I wanted DIMAGA to do to try and keep himself in this series.
Do you think it's really that scary? 7 roaches? Oh, the SCV.
Yeah, it's scary, man. I mean, what units does he have? He has 2 Marines down with 2 Hellions on the way. The thing is, his MVP has always been going for Marines into Hellions, maybe the Reaper Scout early on, but and he's getting Hellbats as well. If he can buy time for those, that'd be great, but still.
MVP right now, he has absolutely no idea. He places his SCV right outside the main of DIMAGA. If he sees this too late and starts repairing the bunker late, that's gonna fall instantly as well.
SCV.
Oh, he gets into the main.
Where are you going, SCV?
And there is no queen there. He might notice the creep spread just below that.
He's going to go down. He's going to go down, and he does end up... Why is there creep going that way, MVP? Anyway, whatever. The bunker is now under assault. It doesn't matter because he's now seen the roaches. He's going to try and repair as best he can do. He should be able to focus down some of those SCVs, though. A good move here by DIMAGA. Same time, he's already killed off 2 SCVs, and the count is 28 to 32 right now. The Hellions coming along, and despite a great hold, 5 SCVs is pretty good. Pretty good.
Is it?
I mean...
34 drones against 26 SCVs is okay, I guess. Oh, MVP is trying to get out of there to go for some counter-attack. He knows there is only 4 roaches left, and he's going to be able to go past those roaches.
That guaranteed forces units here, or...
Yeah.
That's a great move.
And wait, DIMAGA only has 1 queen. He's getting 1 more. He's getting 2 more right now, but the first one will come out in his main, so in his natural, he's not going to have anything.
He was slightly supply block there.
He's
for a
not even
second.
making links.
He had some roaches on the way, didn't he? I think
No,
there must be some roaches there.
no, there is not.
Ah! Oh no, they were. I was looking at the units tab. Oh no! DIMAGA might take a lot of damage here. Good positioning though for those drones for initially, but he does still lose a lot. 10 have already gone down. These Hellions, go uncontested. This is a big deal. 13 workers have gone down. Another big volley if he gets that shot. Oh, he gets it. 16 workers go down. 21 workers to 31. MVP looking phenomenal here. Great decision making.
Yeah, killing 19 workers in total. He's going to find himself on 33 SCVs against 21 drones. This is disastrous here for DIMAGA. DIMAGA is trying to take a third. He's getting a macro hatch in his main. At this point, you could even cancel the macro hatch. You're not going to need it anytime soon.
You're right. This is... Well, he's got 10 drones more on the way. He has to replenish those numbers. He has to try and do some assaulting of his own with the 4 roaches that are moving across the map, but he can't really do much with that. The Hellions still chilling around. And all he has to do is get tanks.
Yeah, I absolutely love the way MVP plays this. He gets always 2 or 3 tanks to make sure he's safe. Behind this, he's going to go into bio. He's got a 3rd command center up. He's got the double engineering bay, and he made the armory very early on as well. He's not started a starport here, but he could go for some Hellbats to tank for his bioforce very early on here.
Hellions being annoying. Will they get any volleys off on these Zerglings? It looks like they want to run straight on back. Doesn't want to lose any of them. A good wall off here, though, by DIMAGA, trying to get those evolution chambers up so he doesn't have to deal with any more of that. And he's droning furiously right now. An extra 11 drones on the way. 42 workers to 39. And that's going to increase just a little bit here for DIMAGA. But still.
And MVP, he's got the 2 tanks. He's satisfied with this. He just swapped his factory for one of his barracks, so he could start Steam Pack. And he's starting Hellbat production. I think he might be looking to again, put on some aggression very, very soon here. Keep on hitting timings. He's getting the starport as well. He's going to be able to drop as much as he wants very, very soon as well.
Yeah, I think there's going to be openings for MVP from what you're saying. I mean, we have the melee weapons on the way. He's getting Baneling Nest as well to just go for a very heavy Ling Baneling mid-game, maybe with Spire, but with the composition that MVP is making, if he hits that third base hard with all of the infrastructure, then he's going to do so much damage.
Yeah, and DIMAGA, it looks like he's getting ready for drops. He's got overlords all around the map, making sure that he sees any type of medivac headed his way. He's got the 4 watchtowers as well, but if MVP goes for a full frontal attack, he's got 39 army supply right now. DIMAGA only 22. It will be very, very hard for DIMAGA to hold. Also, his creep spread is not going very well because of all the pressure that was applied to him and the way he opened. He's not going to have much space to maneuver around with all of his Banelings being very fast, being able to engage into this army of MVP. So MVP here, it does feel like he wants to hit the timing very, very quickly in this game. Maybe have his Hellbats able to tank lots of those Banelings damage or take them out, and in which case his Bioforce will be uncontested in this game.
One thing that I liked about DIMAGA's play just before, he was bringing out wave after wave after wave of drones, really throwing caution to the wind and not really bothering too much about the aggression that would maybe come along earlier there. And now he's throwing down the spores, now he's getting those units out. So he has recouped his position in this game to a certain extent, but with MVP's third base up and running very soon, if he doesn't shut down this assault here, he's going to be in a bad spot.
Imagine MVP drops on the bottom left-hand side of the main of DIMAGA. This poor Rotroyan. This might backfire, this position, but so far MVP doesn't look like he wants to drop, except for the one medivac at 12 o'clock, which is going to go straight into the natural. Oh, it's actually flying right into a spore here. Have to be careful.
Yeah, that was perfectly queued up to greet that spore. Spore says hello, start spitting at it, and then yeah, we'll have to dive on back there. But still, 10 more Lings are on the way, centrifugal hooks, and Glee Reconstitution is going to finish very soon. So DIMAGA's doing a really, really good job of holding off MVP here right now and forcing him back whilst getting that 4th base up and running. What a great time to get that 4th.
Yeah, DIMAGA has somehow stabilized himself in this game. I really think he was so far behind on the worker count that MVP could hit any timing and do lots of damage, but so far he's not able to do any damage to his opponents. Not even getting a cancel on this force here. DIMAGA is everywhere. He's making sure he defends.
And I'm surprised we actually haven't seen the Infestation Pit go down just yet, but he's going for Spire. Oh, that's not the best trade there for MVP, but he's still up in terms of army supply, 79 to 52. Again, I'm surprised we haven't seen the Infestation Pit going down to then transfer onto the Hive so that he can get the Ultralisk tech out if you want.
Oh, and that's for sure, and I called it. He's going to fall here. DIMAGA is going to have to remake this if he wants to get more roaches, which he does. So he restarts this roach run immediately here. He has the Spire on the way. Doesn't have much gas to go with. Since he's just started 2-2, this is obviously very expensive here. And MVP, I'm surprised he hasn't made a Viking yet, because you got all of these overlords around the map. This is a great map for drops, but if your opponent can see them coming, that's not going to work as much. So what this tells me is that MVP doesn't really want to drop here. He just wants to drop 1 or 2 medivac in the main or the natural of his opponent to bring his army out of position and then do huge attacks like the one he's about to do here.
Yep, the Zergling's now moving into position to defend this 4th base, as MVP has a really, really strong army. Some of those Hellbats get some good trades off, and the Zerglings are just trying to run on behind all of this, but the Widow Mines connect, do a lot of splash damage to MVP as well, but still, 171 supply to 117. I think that MVP now is slowly gaining that momentum to run over his opponent with his macro. It's a lot. And 7 Mutalisks, I don't think that's the right choice here.
Yeah, but DIMAGA feels he has to make those Mutalisks to help defend against those medivac drops.
Right.
He's tired of them.
And that 4th base is going to fall. MVP setting himself up a really nice defensive position here. Again, MVP is doing a great job. He spotted the Spire. He knows before the Mutalisks even pop that they're on the way. And I think he's pretty spotted the Hive as well. And even got a Mutalisk kill down to that 4th.
Wow, DIMAGA's reflex is to start Hive. Pretty surprised by that. He needs to be getting as many units out as he can right now. But MVP, he's not going to commit to a big attack here. He's just killed the force base of his opponent. He's going to be pulling back for the moment, making sure he can regroup with the reinforcements. Because that's the thing, we have lots of reinforcements ready for MVP here. His Bioforce 2-2 right now. His Widow Mines. He's got a lot of them.
If an assault comes from MVP...
16 Widow Mines.
16 Widow Widow Mines. If an assault comes from MVP now, which he's maxed, so there's no reason really not to, and DIMAGA doesn't get absolutely fantastic Baneling connections, he could just die right here, right now. He's far down in terms of supply. The Marines and Marauders can soak up some of those Banelings. There's someone actually swinging in from the back as well there.
That wasn't cost effective at all here. DIMAGA is going to try to get a good engagement, but how do you get a good engagement against somebody who's got so many mines? And the watchtower position, he can split as he wants here.
This is a great position for him. He knows exactly where his opponent is going to push in from either side. He's getting 3-3 on the way as well. These Banelings and Zerglings trying to move on forward, but at the same time, that oh, those are good connections actually from those Banelings. MVP here, a little bit sloppy in that, but he still has such a strong army. And it looks like they're going to actually move him once again. And those Widow Mines are still, they have all their charges up on that high ground. They connect with a few of the Zerglings trying to reinforce in here. The Marines, not too numerous here, but they're slowly but surely holding on the medevacs. One medevac for each Marine at this point. And he will kill it off just barely, but behind this, he's been macroing like a champ.
MVP actually is starting to accumulate quite a bank here. Oh, those mines are going to be taken out here.
Ah, that's a big poke up there.
DIMAGA will hold, but we shouldn't be able to get too many. Wow, the reinforcements come. As I say, that DIMAGA is starting an Ultralisk cavern. Can he hold down long enough here for his Ultralisk to be out and to really help with this? MVP, he's got a planetary fortress at 6 o'clock. He's going to try to take the 3 o'clock position as well. He can just transfer as if he's there. He doesn't have enough production facilities, so he's going to start lots of barracks between his natural and third base to make sure he can keep up with how much money he's getting right now. But with the 3-3 about to finish for MVP, and it's just starting now for DIMAGA, MVP might be able to finish with this next 1 or 2 waves of units here, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Adrenal Glands on the way as well, so that would really, really help him out if he were able to get that. DIMAGA being greeted by a lot of Marines. Again, 11 on the way at any given point in time. He could just parade this across the map, and he already is doing so many on the way. The denial of that fifth base even. But these Marines, if they kill off that, then that's going to shut down a lot of DIMAGA's income. Zerglings and Banelings and Muters, they're not enough to really hold this off fully.
Yeah, and I like the Widowman of Watchtower. It's like, come and get me. How do you snipe this one?
It's annoying, man. It's really annoying to actually deal with.
DIMAGA, he needs to save this base. He needs to stabilize. He's getting 2 Ultras right now, but he's got so many upgrades on the way. I don't think MVP is going to give him enough time to complete those upgrades. Maybe Adrenal Glands, but not 3-3, not Chitinous Plating.
Ooh, Zerglings and Banelings try and move on forwards. There's only 2 Banelings in the army. They get good connections, but in the end, there's just too many Marines left over. One Ultralisk in the back. It's kind of caught in between all of that. He's going to try and swing in once again, but so much bio says, no, go away. Once again, a maxed out MVP trying to pressure this 4th base, trying to kill off that 5th, does get it. Banelings connect with some of the Widow Mines, but there's still so much bio on this high ground. That one Ultralisk, he doesn't want to go for the fight, but he has to. He dies off, and now MVP is in a position where he can shut down almost all of DIMAGA's economy. GG, and MVP takes it 3-0, advancing onto the grand final here of the WCS Europe Finals. What a series! What play by MVP!
It's safe to say that MVP is not bad against Zerg.
MVP is pretty good against Zerg, and if he is greeted by Stefano in that final, then Stefano's going to have a really tall order on his hands.
Yeah, Stefano, looking at his matches now, he only needs to beat 4GG and then MVP if he wants to reclaim his title of WCS Europe champion.
Wow, that semi makes the potential final really interesting. If 4GG advances, you have the TVT god that is 4GG going up against that 4-time GSL champion MVP. If Stefano advances, can he deal with the absolutely phenomenal play of MVP? That game 2, man. That game 2. Commiserations to DIMAGA, but he's smiling as always. He's still going to Korea.
We're going to have some boss analysis later on, I can tell you that. Just to give you a little preview of what you might see after the interview.
All right. Well, DIMAGA there. Again, he's still going on to Korea. He's still representing Europe in that season finals over in Korea to compete against all of the qualifiers from WCS America and WCS Korea.
What better player than DIMAGA to represent Europe?
Pretty darn good, I have got to say. Pretty darn good. And, well, we'll be going to an interview in just a little bit here with the victor, MVP, and Red Eye. But once again, DIMAGA, a very hard-fought battle there. Kind of jacketless right now. Darn. Oh well.
Calm down, Kailaris.
Calm down, Kale. All right. So that is going to do it for the first semi-final. What a semi-final to kick off this final bracket. Next up, we have 4GG versus Stefano.
Only that.
Only that.
Such insane matches here.
Yeah, such insane matches. We have the potential of everything being TVZ from here on. Unless 4GG is able to vanquish Stefano in the next
Which
one.
I'm sure he would love to.
Yes, oh, definitely. Yeah, it's gonna be hard though. Stefano's really gonna bring his A game, I think.
He's had all day to prepare for this. He thought very long about this match. Show has 4GG, so I'm very curious to see what they bring to the table here.
And everything all day has been TVZ pretty much, aside from Mr. Baby Knight. So basically, it's TVZ day here in WCS EU, and everyone's been watching these games. Everyone's taking their notes. Everyone's getting a little bit of insight into one another and maybe seeing some strats. But for now, we shall send it over to an interview with MVP and Red Eye.
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, with the winner, MVP. Congratulations, MVP, through to the grand final. My first question is, was there really any doubt that we weren't going to see you in the final?
지금 먼저 축하하고 그리고 결승 뭐 안 갈 줄 알아서 무조건 결승 간다고 생각했어.
결승 갈 자신은 있었는데 디마가 선수한테 제가 한번 졌었기 때문에 조금 방금도 경기하는데 굉장히 좀 많이 긴장했어요. 평소보다 아무래도 한번 졌던 상대라 좀 압박감이 있어서 좀 힘들지 않을까 생각했는데 그래도 이렇게 잘 이기게 돼서 다행이에요.
Well, he thought about it that he would make it to the finals, but actually he lost against DIMAGA in the group stage before in round of 32, so he was actually more nervous than he is normally because he lost against him already, and the game showed it was pretty tough for him to win, and yeah.
Okay, the first and third maps look pretty straightforward, but the second map, it's just, I mean, it's hard because we watched that and everything that DIMAGA threw at you, you dealt with, and for almost 1 hour, it was probably the greatest hole we've seen by a Terran player. I think that's what someone said upstairs when we were watching. From your point of view, just how tough was map 2?
두 번째 판에도 지금 한 시간 동안 맞기만 했는데 그냥 그 게임 어떻는지 그냥 좀 얼마나 힘들었는지 그냥.
일단 초반에 제가 좀 유리하게 시작해가지고 좀 방심했던 것도 있고 그래가지고 조금 막 가스 같은 것도 잘 안 파다 보니까 계속 방어밖에 할 수 없었고요. 가스가 모자라서. 그리고 디마가 선수가 너무 잘 버텨서 공격을 계속 가면 질 것 같아가지고 그냥 방어적으로 계속 했는데 방어적으로 계속 해가지고 이겼던 것 같아요.
Well, actually, from the very beginning, he was kind of in a disadvantage, and he played kind of sloppy by missing gas and not getting gas and stuff. And he realized, like, when DIMAGA was putting pressure on him, that the only way he can beat him is like defending. When he would have pushed out, then he would have lost his thought. So that's why he actually just stayed back and just defended.
Okay, one last question then. You're through to the grand final now. It's one or the other. It's Stefano or 4GG. I guess from a patriotism point of view, you'd prefer to play 4GG, but would Stefano pose an easier or harder final for you?
또 결승에 누구 만나고 싶어? 박지수 선수 아니면 스테파노 누가 나을 것 같아?
둘 다 그렇게 큰 상관은 없는데 제가 테테를 최근에 그 루시프론 선수하고 한 이후에 많이 준비했었거든요. 근데 그 이후에 테테전을 한 번도 안 해서 테테전을 좀 해보고 싶어요.
Well, actually, he doesn't care, doesn't mind who we're gonna face. But after losing against Lucifron in the last group stage, he prepared a lot in his TVT, and he would like to show that he's still good in TVT.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to MVP. The legend is back, and he's back in a final. But who does he meet? We'll find out very shortly. First of all, though, let's check out some analysis with Todd.
Thank you, Red Eye. And I am joined with a special guest once again. Hello, friend. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
You good? You're looking great in your SK top and hat and 2 pins.
Yeah, it's very nice.
What did you think about MVP in his games?
He played well because he practiced me.
Practice with you. So yeah, for people that didn't know, you've been living with MVP for how long? 2 weeks? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And MC's been his training partner. Protoss for Sasse's games in the earlier rounds, and now Zerg for these rounds. You're a pretty good Zerg, right?
Yeah, maybe.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. All right, so let's take a look at the game and have a look at what we just saw and jump into game number 3, because game number 3 was the deciding game. So we saw this roach push. Do you like this?
I saw DIMAGA take this game, but Bunker is so strong.
Bunker's so strong. So as these roaches come in, only 5 SCVs were killed, I think, was the total. And at this point, you need to do a lot of damage. You need to kill the bunker and get in, or you need to pick off every single SCV. What MVP does really well is when he starts to realize he's winning, pulls the SCVs back, and then brings them back, and then again, he'll move them down south, minimizing the SCV losses. And then what ends up happening, if we can fast forward a little bit here, is a counterattack. So this attack, should DIMAGA have done something different to stop these Hellions?
I think DIMAGA didn't see Hellions.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he didn't know Hellion is coming, so Hellion destroyed all drones.
So we counted, I think it was about 5 SCVs were killed, and if we compare in a moment when all these drones go down, 6 in total in this game have gone down, but look at that. Ooh, nasty. 16, 17 drones. So the initial attack here, 18, the initial attack was launched by DIMAGA. The counter-attack did 3 times as much damage, which put MVP in a lot of problems. And then this is kind of, there was nothing really DIMAGA could do from here, right? It's very difficult to play. And then what happens is the game plays out a little bit longer, and then we have this push out, which is almost GG at this point, almost game over, right?
Yeah, but DIMAGA played well because he beat one fight. It's nice.
All right, so that does it for the analysis on this. I mean, there wasn't too much else DIMAGA could do, but before you go, we have another game with Stefano and 4GG. What are your predictions?
I don't think so who will win, but I hope Stefano because TVT is really boring. And I hope MVP against Stefano in the final.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't play on final, so I want to watch first time number 1 Terran and second time number 1 Jerk. First time number 1 is nasty, so yeah, I hope so.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, MC. Your English is amazing as always. It's getting very good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. All right, so Paul, take it away.
Thanks very much, both of you, MC and Apollo. Not Todd, of course, as I blindly sent it over to Todd, who had already done the commentary. Joined now by Hubner, who's been monitoring all the social media and the tweets and the comments and the Reddit threads that have been popping up all over the world. Thank you very much for all your contributions today. They've been fantastic. Even the pictures as well, you meanies. We're going to start things off firstly though with the prediction game. Let's show you where we are right now because the predictions are very close. And you can do more predictions, of course, at wcs.esl.eu. Right now, we've got 2 men at the top who've got an 88% correct bet ratio, 287 points between them. Julian's in third on 271. So there are only 2 more matches remaining. Make sure you go to wcs.esl.eu and make sure you get your predictions in, because if you don't get them in now, you've lost out the chance to win a collector's edition signed by all 8 players from the finals here in the WCS Europe Season 1 finals. Now, Hubner, you've had a few more pictures in.
Yes, I have.
And you'd like to share them, I suppose?
Yes.
Okay, come on then, find these pictures.
We're starting with the harmless ones, so...
We're starting with the harmless ones, okay. Let's check this one out then. So, okay, a bit of Beatles there. I always fancied myself as a bit of a John Lennon type. Okay, fine. What else do we have? Okay, so some hand-drawn. Okay, that's very nice because it's hand-drawn. I have to say though, I look like I was in Avatar in that one. But okay, fine, yeah. Okay, what else do we have?
We have you guys at the bar actually, with Whitera as the barman.
Very good, very clever. I like that. That almost looks like that was a proper picture of Sean with all of the rest of us photoshopped in. I like that. I like that a lot. What's the next one? Okay. That's actually brutally clever. I'm particularly liking myself as DIMAGA Red Eye. That's fun. Yeah. Okay.
So you think you're going to advance today?
No chance. I went down 3-0, 3-0. What else have we got?
with you in Star Wars, I guess.
Force chokehold. I always wanted to be in Star Wars, so actually I'm quite happy with that one. Very good. Yeah, like that one. Thank you.
This is my personal favorite again. I'm loving this one.
For the love of God, people.
I know we're going towards one that is really, really creepy, actually.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, all right, we can take that down now. Thank you, production team. Yeah, did you see them leaving that up for longer than they needed to? I saw that too. Thank you, Hubner. Most interesting. Thank you guys for joining in. I know it's a bit of fun as well. Even at my expense, I don't mind it. It's fine. Where would you like to go around the world? I know where I'd like to go right now, and it's definitely not here. Here's what the players think.
Definitely New Zealand. My dream is to go backpacking there just for a month.
South Korea and practice StarCraft.
An island, like party islands. My preference is not to go somewhere where it's hot.
I do not enjoy traveling that much.
I want to go to Spain.